Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to another edition of the 343 podcast, episode 90. I'm your host, Jason. We are back. We are good to have the gang back together. We've got a late arrival there as well. AF, how's it going, my man?
Dude, I'm doing great. It was a nice hiatus for me, and I was out of the country. I'm back in the country, and welcomed with some interesting news that we will be able to dissect sometime in this episode. But yeah, I'm doing good, man. How are you?
No, I'm all good. I'm all good. To any of the Man United fans, if you wanted Ten Hag to get sacked, you needed AF to leave the country sooner. That's clearly what I'm getting from all of this. I'm joined as well by Riaz Parker, my other co-host. How's it going, man?
Yeah, good. It's good to be back and do a live episode as well. So I'm super excited.
Lovely, lovely. So we'd only roll out live episodes for special guests. And as you can see, we've got somebody that might not be familiar to most. We are welcoming Sripad from India, actually, a freelance sports journalist and content creator, giving his work to Sportskeeda, the Sports Zine, Racing to the Pole, and Dream 11's Fan Code. Sripad, welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for pulling in. As is customary, we have to do a little bit of an icebreaker. So we have to let the people know who you are. Just a little insight. So because we are a football channel, and I know you're involved in many different sporting codes, we're going to focus on football tonight. Can you just tell us who your favorite player is and why you enjoy them and what really made you fall in love with how they play or how they conduct themselves and all those things?
Favorite player right now or ever? I think both answers would be Lionel. I think both answers for me would be Lionel Messi. I think it's just magic watching him. There's like very few. I run out of words to describe very few players, and Messi is easily one of them. When he has the ball at his feet, you just leave everything and you just watch him. There's nothing else you need to do that day. You don't need to focus on who's making runs or who's coming close to mark him or anything. You just watch him, enjoy the game. That's it.
Lovely, lovely. I like this guy already, AF. I think we need to make him a regular. And then just the extra thing as well, just to check. So we'll be focusing on quite a bit of Premier League football. Just for all the viewers, what team are you following in the Premier League? Who have you hatched your wagon to?
You're going to go and say, let's remove him from the stream already because I support Chelsea.
Okay, AF, let's actually not keep him on the show. Okay, that just confirms everything for me.
I think Sripad might be our first Chelsea guest that we've gotten onto or first Chelsea contributor on this channel.
Yeah, that's actually on the show. Yeah, you see, because recently lots of Chelsea fans can comment in the chat, videos, but nobody wants to show their face. So we had to go out of the country onto a different continent to get somebody who's willing to chat. But that's good. Thank you for being here. So basic outline of what's going to happen today. We've got a massive few games coming up. But before we get there, we have to just circle back and look back at the previous weekend. We'll cover a few of the results. We'll cover, once again, the hottest topic that's currently happening, and that is the poor officiating within the Premier League. And then, there's a little exit, a little departure, and there's rumors circling around the club from Manchester about an incoming manager. So we'll be covering that as well. AF, I'm going to jump straight into you. I want to just get your first thoughts on what was a very up and down game against West Ham over the weekend.
Yeah, no, United should have been 5-0 after half time. I don't know what it is. The Oaks just forgot their shooting boots at home. Probably forgot their shooting boots all season. But yeah, I don't know. That Dalot miss was quite extraordinary. I don't know how anybody could miss something like that, even if they tried. But yeah, it was a game of two halves. The first half was all United. Second half allowed West Ham to get back in, and yes, there was a VAR decision, but I mean, it should never have come to that in the first place, in all honesty.
It's interesting that you bring up that Diego Dalot chance, because I think back to the conspiracy theory that Stevie G missed a penalty back in the day to get Roy Hodgson sacked? Are we suspecting that Diego Dalot missed that chance purposefully so that Erik Ten Hag could be out and a fellow Portuguese man could possibly be coming in?
Bro, I don't know. Like I was thinking down those lines, but I mean, nobody would have known that they've been speaking to Ruben Amorim. They before he was even brought into the picture, everybody was punting Nagelsmann and Graham Potter and Gareth Southgate and all of these jokers. So I mean, like nobody knew that there was going to be a Portuguese manager involved at all. It seems like Ineos has been doing this behind the curtain for the last couple of months at least, like just trying to lay the groundwork for that. But yeah, like he could have done it on purpose. He could have just done it with the intention of getting Ten Hag sacked. But yeah, it was just a bad miss, man. Like just convert your chances, dude.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm gonna bring in our guest here, Sripad, as a neutral. And I'm not sure if you managed to catch that West Ham United game, but I think the writing has been on the wall for Ten Hag for like quite some time now, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that he's lasted so long.
Yeah,
I would say the Palace game last season, that should have been his final game. I don't think there was any question. Like, I don't think a single United fan would have actually questioned the decision to sack him at that point. Then he survived that. Then he went on to win the FA Cup somehow. That should have been like, okay, thank you, you're done here. That's a good way to sign off. He should have also resigned, I think. And I read a quote from his friend saying he asked him to resign after that, and still Ten Hag just said no, I want to continue, and he went on. I think that would have been a very good way for him to leave. I think it would have very much been like how Xhaka left Arsenal.
yeah,
He was done. I think Arsenal fans wanted him out, but then he became a hero, and now he's like people don't care about what have him throwing the armband and walking away, and they just remember him for the good times now. So I think Ten Hag should have done the same thing after the FA Cup win. I think it would have been a good time for him to leave. And then again, September international break, I thought, okay, that's it. I don't think he'll survive this. He survived that. Then the October international break came, he survived that. And then if it wasn't for Ornstein tweeting yesterday that he's sacked, I still don't think I would have believed an official statement from United also that he's been sacked, because he is just there on the wall. He's just like a fly on the wall. No matter what you do, it's just going to be there.
yeah. No, honestly, I think similar to the red card that was overturned, and he claims that the Spurs game wasn't a loss. He would have stayed, and he would have just rejected that sacking. You know, maybe over in like a Kepa a few seasons ago, coach wants to sub me, says, you know what, I'm gonna stay on, and we are gonna see this thing through. So yeah, if we looked at his time, and I think it was pretty successful because he's won 2 trophies. But do you think he's possibly set you guys back now, signing a certain set of players, and now he's not there anymore?
I think yes and no, because I think majority of the players that he brought in, they have good technical quality. So it's not like they brought those players in, and it's only going to work for Ten Hag. Apparently, Ruben Amorim, he works with a 3-4-3. He's worked with Manuel Ugarte before. Let's not forget that he went from Sporting to PSG. So that was one of his players that he used in his very first season at Sporting when he won the Portuguese league in his debut season. So yeah, like I think these players or the players that were recruited will be able to be used in the system. But yeah, at the end of it all, like we don't know anything. We are just assuming these things from the outside. And yeah, it's all down to how the manager is going to construct his team when he's appointed.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I think why the formation works well is because I think most of the time you guys only have 3-foot defenders. So the 3-4-3 is that you play anybody that's fit, and then that's the formation that will then determine it. Riaz, I want to bring you in as a Spurs fan who's also gone through a few periods of transition. You know, coaches leaving after like 9 to 10 games and you're having to rebuild and stuff. Does this unsettle United? Do they have a little bit of a manager bounce? Is it going to be similar to that Ole time period where he came in and suddenly they just started stringing wins together? What is the outlook looking for them?
I hope not. It's a simple answer. I hope not. But on like a bit of a tactical overview of it, I think it's great for them because, like you said, the way that he plays the 3-4-3 system, I think that's going to suit them a bit more because of, I guess, the players that Ten Hag has brought in. And a stricter system is kind of what they need in order to kind of get an identity of how they want to play. Because I think that's what's been plaguing them for the past couple of seasons. They like Bruno Fernandes is on the edge of their box, and then he's all the way up the field again, and Minu's the same, and there's not really any structure to the way they are and the way that they're playing. So I think a strict 3-4-3 is going to be good for them. A strict plan on how they're going to work to go from the back to the front. I think it's going to be really good. I think it might be a bit more of a kind of slow burn rather than an Ole quick 6 wins on the trot. I think it'll be slow. I think there'll be some draws in there, maybe a loss or two. But I think in the long run, I think it's going to be way better for them. I hope so anyway, because, I mean, like you said, I've had my fair share of managers that come in and have done terrible things to my football club. So, and I mean, we look now and Ange isn't doing too well in terms of results, but the way we're playing, at least we have a clear way of how we want to play. We're attacking football. Gung ho, we all in, and that's all that matters. So, which I'm still not sure if I prefer to the Mourinho defend for your life and see if you can nick a goal. But I think the structure for them, I think, is going to be very important. And to have the strikers there in the front and not Dello to finish off the chances with an open goal, which is important.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, let's park United just for a bit. We obviously have that big segment where we'll be previewing the Man United Chelsea game. Sorry, not the Arsenal.
Too much on your mind there.
Yeah, honestly. Sripad, I'm going to jump to you again as a Chelsea fan. So we've spoken at length about Chelsea and what we expected from this Maresca ball and all these things. How would you describe the start of the season, and more specifically these last few results where it looks like there's sort of a system that seems to be developing?
I think they're already far ahead of where they wanted to be on the Maresca. Like, I personally did not think we go out as good as we have done so far. I think from the apart from Palace and the other game where we dropped points apart. Forest, yes, correct. Sorry. Yeah, those two matches, I think those two should have been wins. If they were, I think already there's been a good positive feedback to Maresca, especially for the Chelsea fans. If you like Pochettino, Potter, and all suffered because the fans in the stadium were very vocal about their frustration with the system and results and everything. I think even at the start from the Man City game itself, I think there's a very good positive feedback for Maresca, and that has contributed as well. I think Maresca is doing well. I'm still not I'm going to say he's done a great job, but he's done way better than what I think most people wanted from him.
I think people were writing him off quite early because of how the transfer business and all the transfer dealings were done. But I completely agree with Sripad. I think they've been playing like really good football. I think they have a clear idea and a clear plan of what they are trying to execute. I mean, like the league position, like there's a reason why they are that far on top of in the table. And I mean, like, we have Sadiq here in the chat, and it's Cole Palmer's world, and we're just living in it. So I mean, he's been a huge sort of influence on the results and on the team and Maresca ball in general this season.
So we see him continuing on the form under Pochettino, where Poch said, I think there was a quote, and maybe it was paraphrased or anything like that, but it said, we're literally just giving the ball to Palmer and seeing what he can do. But now he's getting support from a few different areas. You have Noni Madueke, who is now somewhat come to the party. You have Nicholas Jackson. Okay, he's not missing as many chances, and he is still popping up with a few goals. You have Sancho, who has come in, who has done moderately okay. You have Mudryk, that's possibly coming to the party a bit. Is the over-reliance on Cole Palmer something that you see possibly becoming an issue? Should he perhaps pick up an injury? Would you possibly have a way out of that and a system to allow for that?
I think so, because I think if you look at the cup games that Chelsea are playing right now, they don't have Palmer at all. Especially in the Conference League, he's not in the squad at all. And in the I think the last game we played was just they didn't reach the levels of what you expect in the Premier League. But still, I think that second 11 that Chelsea have right now, I think they're doing fairly decent. And if should something happen to Palmer, I think Nkunku can easily come in and play that role. Or even if Palmer isn't available, I think the ideal midfield at that time would be playing Lavia, Caicedo, and Enzo, giving Enzo the pre-roll, and Caicedo also the pre-roll with Lavia just sitting back and playing that like whatever he does there. I don't think I can't compare him to Matic and say he's the destroyer type. Where or I can't say he's a Kante type who just runs. He's a mix of both. So I think I don't think there's any player in the squad right now that Chelsea would say if he's injured, I think our season is derailed. Of course, Palmer is, in terms of numbers, you can anyone will just straight away point at Palmer. But if at all, with that said, I think the person Chelsea would miss the most if they get injured is Nicholas Jackson, because Nkunku can't do what Jackson does, and in terms of I don't think Mark Guehi is ready to come in and play that role as well.
Yeah.
We have a question here in the chat from Ziad. Who is better, Mudryk or Sancho?
Is that for me?
Yeah. You can go ahead.
But as the Chelsea. Yeah.
I think it depends on who we're playing against, because against Liverpool, I wanted Modric to play that game, or even Neto, because I think Trent was finding it way too easy against Sancho, because Sancho likes to slow it down and cut in and all that. But if you have a direct winger who can just run at Trent and give him no time to react, that's where you expose Trent. There, I think I did speak about this before, that Maresca made a mistake there. He should have played Neto or Mudryk instead of Sancho in that game. And at halftime, he made the change, and I think it did well. But if you ask in terms of overall, if there's a difference between Mudryk and Sancho, I think both are pretty much at the same level right now. Sancho has done it before in Dortmund, not at United. United is shadow of the player. So let's not. But yeah, I don't think there's a big difference between those two. I think they're pretty much bang average, not great, but not bad, not as bad as people make them out to be as well.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's actually interesting. As you were rolling off those names, I'm just thinking like the squad depth, and again, this is something that we've spoken about, and we laughed it off, and we said Chelsea were their 48-man squad. But listing those names, I think it's just a matter of time until it clicks and they find their perfect 11. Because I think what happened last season, the struggle for naming a consistent 11 is what hindered some of that progress. Every week you have a different centre-back pairing, then you have a different midfield, then it's Conor Gallagher playing forward, then he's playing holding, then you have Mark Guehi, then you have somebody else playing. It was a real struggle. But now there seems to be, you have your Conference League team, you have your League Cup team, you have your Premier League team, and okay, that's also as a result of having so many players. But the consistency element is going to do well, because then also players are starting to gel together. They're starting to understand what this one does, what that one does. But it's it's an unreal squad depth. And obviously coming from an Arsenal fan where injuries are plaguing us now at the moment, and we've loaned out all of our players and we've sold some of our other fringe players, it's like, I'm looking and I am a tad bit jealous, because football is not.
You can't really say injuries are plaguing. You guys have 2 injuries. two injuries are not that. There was something
it's more squad
we
depth, I suppose.
like. You have two injuries. We had double-digit injuries every game week last year. You can't just say injuries are plaguing. That's not the word to use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, I mean, look. For me, I feel that maybe it's not injuries, but maybe it's just the squad depth that as now, maybe
Disciplinary
injuries
issues,
is the
man.
Yeah.
wrong
That's the
word.
problem.
Yeah, but
No,
it's
you
but
can't blame Arteta. He's had only 6 years, right? He needs another 6 years to get things going. I guess you can't
no,
blame
fair.
Arteta for that also.
Yeah, nah, 100%. Look, I'm getting cooked here. I think we should move on. Yeah, nah, fair. Riaz, I'm gonna jump to you, seeing as you're having such a good time there. Spurs over the
Yeah,
weekend, classic deflection tactic, bounce it to my
yeah,
North London rivals.
fair enough.
What are the thoughts on that game? And yeah, after such a high against West Ham, to suddenly go to Crystal Palace and then lose after Crystal Palace couldn't beat anybody. They had something for you guys.
Yeah, and we were crap, eh? We were solidly bad. I mean, that's the way. That's the way it is. It seems with us. I mean, one week even in one game, in the Brighton game, 45 minutes we were better than anybody in the league, better than anybody in the league. And the next 45 minutes we were worse than Ipswich or Southampton. And then the following week we beat West Ham 4-1 or 5-1, and then the following week we lose to Crystal Palace 1-0. I'm not sure the consistency is the actual issue here. So I'm not sure how he's going to get it. I think he did an interview in the week that he was saying something about leadership and tactics and on the field presence and how to kind of go about changing things when we need to. And that's, I think, is going to play a big role because that's the only way to bring consistency in because it's really bad. I mean, losing to Crystal Palace 1-0 is shocking. And Crystal Palace has not been good this season. Like maybe at the end of last season, losing 1-0 to Crystal Palace wouldn't have been a bad result. But this season, it's really, really bad. Like I I have no excuses for it. We were just shocking. We couldn't fashion any chances. We were bad at. Well, I guess we weren't terrible at the back. It's just that we gave away a silly goal because, as usual, we tried to play out from the back, and we gave away a silly goal. And that's just the way it's been. Either we score a lot of goals and we win the game convincingly, or we seem to just give it up somehow and we lose. It's not Spursy. It's completely different to being Spursy, Zadie, actually.
It's not in
Because
that DNA.
if we were Spursy, we'd be losing most of the games and then winning some of the games and playing crap football all the way through. At least we play decent football sometimes and we win sometimes as well. So that's a good thing, I guess. But it's tough. It's consistency is all I hope for, and somehow we have to get that somehow.
Yeah. No, fair. And I just want to ask you, just as a follow-up to that, you're obviously talking about consistency, and just come out and he said it oftentimes that he's not going to change his style.
Yeah.
Do you think he needs to change it possibly to something a bit more pragmatic? So if I refer to possibly the Brighton game, you're up 2-0. Can you then just change it a bit? Can you maybe bring on somebody else, put on one of Arteta's 6 defenders, lock it up there? Is that something that you see, or you're happy with the fact that he's a coach that sticks true to his style?
Yeah, that's the catch-22, isn't it? Because at times I really wish that we could be more pragmatic because it would help us in games, but he's shown that he's not going to do that. Like he said outright, that's not what he's going to do. He wants more control, and with control, that's how he wants to kind of become pragmatic by holding the ball and not always pushing or not always kind of giving up the ball and putting 6 defenders at the back. I think what he could do better is the substitutions, but there again, we just spoke about Chelsea and Arsenal now. The squad depth isn't there for us to do that. So we can't just bring on, we can't take off Pedro Porro, who's the marauding right back, and bring on someone to kind of just stay there. Ben White, maybe, to just stay there and sit in and be the right back next to Romero to shore things up. We don't have that. We have Archie Gray, who's, if not more attacking than Porro is. So it's difficult without the squad depth, but he's not going to change the way he plays. And you know what? I have to back him. I'm not going to say that because we've gone through Nuno, we've gone through Mourinho, we've gone through Conte, and that was rough to watch. I'm not going to lie. Like every week was tough to put on the TV, and it was tough to watch. Now, at least in games that we play decently, it's really good to watch. Like, it's like really good football to watch. So that I'll take any day of the week. And we lose sometimes. We used to lose sometimes anyway. So, I'll take it.
Nah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, just on that game, and I think it highlights a bigger problem that we've also spoken about a lot, and I'd love to get Sripad's thoughts on it. AF, if you can just pull up that little graphic that we have decided, right? So we're going to talk about the Premier League's inconsistency and more the usage of VAR and Premier League refs, and I think we've seen numerous errors. Looking at this instance here, right? So obviously the top image is the Arsenal Bournemouth game. We acknowledge that is a red card because it's that far. Fine, fair. Don't believe it, but okay. And the bottom image is Mickey van der Ven against Crystal Palace this past weekend. Sripad, what are your thoughts on these two? I'm just going to put you on the spot here, and just, if you can talk us through what your thoughts were when you saw the Saliba one, and then also just with this one now and looking that is a lot closer. Let's just jump into chaos.
I think both were red card offenses. But I'm no longer surprised by decisions from the Premier League referees, because it just depends on what they think at that time. If they want to support this team, they just say it's okay, you can play on. If you don't want, they just say okay, here it's a red card for you. And I don't I no longer think about Premier League referees giving a consistent decision. Like, forget the whole season. I don't think they'll do it in the whole match. Like, supposing if William Saliba got sent off in that game against Bournemouth this next half, if Bournemouth player had done the same foul, they would have just said yellow card, or they would have just said free kick. I don't think they have that consistency anymore. And VAR is just an excuse for them to get the decision done how the majority of the officials want it, and not just one official. I really have no expectations from the Premier League officials right now.
Yeah. That's fair. Look, it sounds like I brought this up to bring up Saliba's thing again, but it's more just to highlight that the inconsistency happens. No, Riaz.
I agree with that. I generally don't agree with most of the Arsenal fans, but I agree with this part that yes, I think that was a red card. I think the Van de Ven was a red card. I think Tosin against Liverpool, that also was a red card, because that also was a last man tackle there. Though I think Tosin, to an extent, not bring any of the Chelsea bias in this, but Jota was pulling him as well compared to the other two incidents. You can see Jota was looking for that card more than just going for the ball. But still, I think all three decisions should have been red and not just Saliba.
Yeah. No, it's fair. And okay, so then something that's been circulating online as well is, do we bin VAR, or do we just get more competent officials?
They're not going to bin it.
No chance. This is the way to ensure that they get things done the way they want to.
Binning it is just giving them more power to get decisions done their way and not actually have a fair outcome. I think I've followed Premier League since 2002, 2003. And I don't want those decisions against that are going in favor of United. Those are way more horrific than this. So no, I don't want that. No, I'll vote for VAR as long as we get 7 out of 10 right than having 2 out of 10 right.
Yeah.
That's actually a fair statement. I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
Because that's true.
No, look, it's hard, but I think what's worse is that it's fans that have watched it for an extended period of time, and we've grown up with a product that was exciting. And okay, take all of those bad decisions out of it back in the day, because United had those refs cooked. It's something that you used to enjoy watching, but now it's like every game, even refs, they seem to be afraid to make any sort of controversial call because it's going to blow up so massively. And it works in the favor of the Premier League because they get spoken about quite a bit. It gets put in the spotlight, but actually it brings the quality of game down. It brings down the sort of spectacle that we grew up knowing we're actually going to get. And it's just like, when is it going to happen, and not if it is going to happen. So it's really true what you're saying. If we do bin it, that just means we're going to get more of those whack decisions, and we can't actually hold those refs accountable. Which, I mean, then you have Howard Webb doing a whole fan tour, basically talking about Pogba, and it's kind of like they double down and they say, okay, so we've made this decision, and now we're gonna have this live thing, and we're just gonna keep talking about how we're trying to do better, and they're not actually trying to do better. So
it's very easy to find. It's very easy to pinpoint what is wrong with the officials right now, because we just need to look at how Euro happened. I can recall only two controversial incidents, and both incidents it was Anthony Taylor over there. It was an English official. No other. The whole tournament we had offside, we had handballs, we had penalty decisions. Nothing was controversial. The only two controversial decisions, Anthony Taylor was right in the middle of it. I think English officials, I think they love the spotlight for some reason. I think they should just go and work for the Sun if they if they love the spotlight so much. But no, I don't. I think they need to have a proper training, because you can't just keep going. It's okay, it's a mistake. No, it's not a mistake. You have VAR, you have all your technology. Use it properly. Just don't. You're just lazy.
No, for sure. 100%.
I like this guy.
No, honestly, look, he can cook, he can be logical. I absolutely enjoy it. I'm gonna raise my hand and say, absolutely nuke me with that. But yeah, let's jump forward now, right? So we've looked at the past. Let's look at the future as it's coming up. We've got a few games this weekend. Obviously, the standout fixture is the Man United Chelsea game. I just want to talk a little bit, because it would be wrong for me to have this flag, have this jersey, and not talk about Arsenal against Newcastle. Riaz, because you are also a closeted Arsenal fan, we've only had 2 injuries. We came out of a battle with Liverpool. What are we expecting from this game, especially given last season's very contentious game? A lot of late tackles, a lot of fouls, a lot of things going about. Newcastle not in the best form. What are we thinking for this game?
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a good game, I think, because I think both teams are going to kind of play good football, and that's all I can ask as a neutral, kind of. So I think it's going to be a good game. And where they're playing, by the way, where are you guys playing?
St. James.
Okay, and St. James is also like, not that the Emirates isn't a good place, but St. James's Park is always like up for a big game. And like you said, Newcastle haven't been in that great of form, but at St. James Park in a big game is basically when they turn it around always. And I think that they have, I think, more of their key players available than what Arsenal have. I'm not saying injuries. I'm more saying, I guess, Odegaard is a big loss. I do like how they played Havertz in that game on the weekend, because he kind of played as a behind Saka in like a right mid kind of a player, where and Trossard was kind of a false 9, and that kind of freed up Saka to get him behind, and that's how he scored the goal. And so I really like the way that Havertz is molding himself into kind of a utility player, can play like anywhere. He was even right back at times. But I think it's going to be a good game to watch, and hopefully a draw is a good result, I think.
I don't think I can stomach another draw. Sripad, before we get on to the Man United Chelsea, what are your thoughts on this Newcastle side? I think Eddie Howe started very well, and now it seems like the football sort of caught up with them, and they just seem like they're not firing on the same cylinders as the previous seasons.
I think you put it right. I mean, they're not firing on the same cylinders because they're running on empty right now. They've run so much, like they press a lot, they just keep attacking. I think the players are eventually tired. I don't think he's rotated enough. I've not followed Newcastle so much. I don't but whenever I look at them, I think they have a core of instead of having a core of 4 or 5, I think they have a core of 8, 7 or 8. So if those players have an off day, like they have a very bad time. I think Dan Burn is one example. I think last season and all, not last season, the one before that, I think he was very key for them. Every header, every defensive action, he was there. He was winning it, but I don't see him performing at that level anymore. I think Hall and Livramento have not done as good as people expected them to be. and especially Bruno Guimaraes as well. I think he's slowed down a bit. He's more looking to win the fouls and get the ball into the box to Isaac than just find the other option. I think opponents have also found out how Eddie Howe wants his players to play, and they've probably very easily chopped out most of the route one, route two actions, and that's uh, I think how he needs another plan. And I think, like, I know I'm saying it right, like 2 hours before the Chelsea game, but I don't think he has one right now. And he's going to prove me wrong in 2 hours.
No, for sure, 100%. If let's jump away from my team and Newcastle and talk about yours with the news of an incoming possibly happening very soon and Ruud van Nistelrooy as the interim manager. What are your thoughts heading into the game against Chelsea?
Yeah, so I mean, Ruud's basically his audition is tonight against Leicester in the League Cup. Apparently, it's a one-off. I don't know how true all of that is. The New York Times, they posted, and I think New York Times owns The Athletic, so that is quite a reputable source that he's just going to be in charge for one game. But yeah, I don't know if you saw the clips of Amorim's press conference going all over the show today, where they actually asked him about it, and he just said that you'll have to wait and see. So he's not giving anything away. You don't know what's going to be happening. But yeah, I'm just taking, dude. I'm not getting my hopes up for another manager again. I've been burnt by this already. I've looked forward to a new manager so many times. Just let one stick and like actually make us happy somehow.
Yeah, get Southgate in there. Get Southgate in there.
That's the winner that everybody
how do you mute
needs.
Like how can I mute this guy?
No, for sure. Look, it's an interesting one, isn't it? It's that manager bounce, and Ruud's obviously had 9 Prem games working with him, not as a head coach. But I think they sort of they should understand him, and there's a different feel when it's a club legend, when he just comes in, just brings that sort of experience of what it's been like. Whoa, that's it's a big one there. Liverpool's leftovers, isn't it? West Ham's leftovers as well. Didn't he have a failed move to West Ham to start the season?
Chelsea's leftover as well.
Chelsea's leftovers, yeah. It was supposed to be lined up for City, I think. Once Pep left, they were talking about Amorim coming in there. So it's So Sripad, as a Chelsea fan now going up against this United team, is this like a banana skin? Is it something that you're nervous for? You're feeling quietly confident? What's happening?
I was confident, but then they went on and sacked Ten Hag, so now I'm like doubtful. So, like the last time, if I'm not wrong, I think last time Chelsea won at Old Trafford, I think Juan Mata was playing for us. Yeah. I think Yamal was flying to go to school. I think, I was pretty confident going till last weekend. After I saw the West Ham match, also I was like, okay, United are just going to do the same thing again. They're not going to change anything. It's going to be Ten Hag, easy peasy, 2-0 win, first time finally. And then they may go and sack Ten Hag. I was like, that's the first time I saw a David Ornstein tweet, and I was like, no, this is not happening. Like every time, like I think last time also when they sacked Ole just before the Chelsea game, Everton have done it. When they brought in that Duncan Ferguson in charge, that manager bounce against Chelsea is always we always come up against teams that just sack their manager. They go and have the prime Barca, prime Madrid for performances, and then obviously you see Chelsea fans going, "Oh, that's it, Maresca out now," and then the whole atmosphere changes. And I think that's going to happen this weekend as well. Like, Mr. Roy, I think I'm not sure. No, I don't think they will have this cycle.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think in terms of Amorim, I think United are making their first good decision in over 6-7 years. I think that's a formation. That's a manager who is going to get them going again. but I think they made it a. I think they're late by around 3 months. If they had done this in the summer, I think they'd have been
Yeah.
much better in a better situation right now when they got him the player that he needs and
Yeah.
can work with right now. I saw one tactical analysis of him where he has shadow strikers and all that. And right now, looking at the United squad, I don't think they have a shadow of a striker over there who can work in the system.
Nah,
That was
boss,
brilliant. That was
absolutely.
brilliant.
Yeah. Nah, look, I think following and I'm not gonna claim to have followed Amorim's career for when he started managing. I think they were he played with I think he played with Lindelof when he was at Benfica, so that's actually crazy. But he brought Sporting their first title after almost 20 years. I was just reading a post now, I think it was just as I was prepping for this, and it was talking about how at the time that he took over, the club was in absolute shambles. The fans were wanting to fight with the actual players. And yeah, they were just not finishing anywhere close, anywhere productive, rather. And he comes in and they win their first title and they just completely revolutionize. They sign unknowns, they sell them off. I mean, look, case in point, Manuel Ugarte sort of went through Sporting. He went to PSG and I was at United. So that link now continues, we're Sporting on our feeding Man United. But I think he has a good brand of football. I think it's good. And if he's taken over Sporting when they were in this sort of dysfunctional era, I think it's a good young manager to then come up and take hold. And hopefully he gets the sort of backing that any manager needs. We say Arteta took 6 years, and okay, he's in his 6th year now, but there was very close to times where he could have been fired. But there was the sight and that vision of, okay, he's got to repair a lot. So let's go with that. Let's give him the time. Let's give him the resources. Let's spend what he needs to spend over that period. It could possibly be that something could happen. But like AF said, we're not going to put too many expectations on him. He's picking up a shop that's got many holes. There's water coming in while people scooping water out. So it's just, let's see if we can patch up the holes and then start taking out all of the excess water.
It's the leaky roofs at Old Trafford.
Yeah, exactly. So before the ship must be fixed, we must sort the roof out because winter is coming. With all this daylight saving already, the rain is going to be starting soon. Riaz, let's start you off with predictions. And just before predictions, give me a key battle that we think could be played out over the weekend. And then prediction after that.
It's difficult because I'm not sure. So is the man expected to be in charge at the weekend?
No, I don't think that he'll be here by the weekend. But now, just talking about Man United and then Chelsea, let's park Amorim somewhere else. Just picking out from their players and just who the key battles would be.
Yeah, I'm just asking because I wanted to know kind of what formation they will be playing. So if that's the case, if Ruud's going to continue with the normal 4-2-3-1 formation, then I think the Sancho thing, is Sancho allowed to play as well? Because that left-hand side with Mazraoui, I think the wingers is where
Sancho can't play.
Okay, so I think the wingers that's actually better for Chelsea. But I think the wingers are where they can actually get at United because of how high the right and left back used to play. Dalot, I mean, we saw where he was against West Ham. He was there in the box trying to finish something. He was on the end of things. So I think if they can exploit that, because I think also that the two in the middle, both the Ugarte and whoever plays with him, is going to be they're going to have their hands full with Palmer. So to get the ball into Palmer and get it wide, I think it's going to be where the key battle is kind of to shut Palmer down and make sure that the fullbacks aren't too far up the field when Madueke and Neto comes attacking, of course.
Okay. Yeah, let's actually leave predictions. I think we'll round it off. Sripad, for you, is that the key area? Is it going to be, can we shut down Cole Palmer as Liverpool successfully managed to do, and he was very much anonymous in that game?
Yeah, I think Liverpool showed exactly how to keep Palmer quiet. But then the issue with United is that they are not they don't have a midfielder or a striker, or a defender who's fast enough to match the pace of Palmer as well. If Palmer pulls him out of position, then you're going to give Jackson a lot of space. You have Casemiro there. You have, I think, Delegit will be playing. So I think those two will be key. If they manage to just stick to the position and don't get drawn out by Palmer and Caicedo, I think that'll be key over there. And in terms of how Real said about the wing, when Madueke and I think Neto will be playing that match, that'll also be a good battle. It'll be good if Cucurella also plays instead of Gusto. I think Gusto should be a second half player in that game. But I think with that said, I think Maresca won't change the starting 11. I think he'll go with the same one again, depending on Fofana's fitness. That is one worry right now. I think his knee. I didn't expect him to continue that full match, but still he did, and I'm glad he did. And he won't be in the squad today for sure. So let's see. I think that is also big. But then the big advantage for United, Robert Sanchez will be in goal for Chelsea.
I noticed over the last couple of weeks you've had some very colorful language in your tweets towards Robert Sanchez. So I think we all know your feelings towards him.
See, I'll be honest. I never wanted him at the start. From the time he was linked last year, I didn't think he was good enough. Then we had Petrovic coming in, and he did brilliantly. But of course, people had issues with his passing. I think he needed time to work on it. But I think the issue for me is that when I look at a goalkeeper, I want him to do the basics right. Whereas he needs to get his positioning and he needs to get his shot stopping right. I don't care about passing, as long as he's sticking to the short passing and not going long for everything and misplacing and giving the position away. I think even if it's as long as it's not dangerous like how Kepa did against Liverpool when Mane was playing. As long as it's not that type of thing. And Mendy against Leeds United, and of course Sanchez has done it a lot of times against Arsenal last year when they were trailing 2-0. He just passed it straight to Declan Rice. Like that was a brilliant pass. You can't lie.
Great assist.
But yeah, with Sanchez, I think Gattuso's GIF is the best way to describe it. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Yeah, that's how he is. Against Bournemouth game, I think I have to give credit for him. Those 3 points were all down to him. Though you can blame him for the penalty, he saved, and then he did brilliantly after that as well. But then Sanchez, you just don't know which Sanchez is going to show up.
No, that's fair.
The beauty is that you have about 7 goalkeepers that you can rotate him with.
It's just about whether you want this keeper today to save or you want this keeper to pass. It's hard to get them all together.
The issue is not that we have 7 goalkeepers; we have 7 different Sanchez's as well. If they had one consistent goalkeeper there, because I've not seen a lot of Jorgensen to say that he's good enough to come in and be the number one. But I had that confidence in Petrovic after a couple of games straight away. I had confidence in Petrovic even before because I had seen a lot of him in MLS. I used to cover MLS at that for like 2022 or something, and that time he was brilliant. So I wanted him in signed with Chelsea when we had Kepa and Mendy fighting. I didn't really think those two were long-term options. But then I think Chelsea have made a mistake by not going for Mamadashvili as well. I think that would have been a good option.
Yeah.
But then they have made some good signings. I think I've heard a lot of good things about Penders. He's been described in Belgium as the next Thibaut Courtois. So I think that will be a one to watch out for. And I saw a match of his last weekend or something, and he was very impressive. But then he's not the option right now. That's the issue. We have Sanchez. We have to survive with Sanchez. And hopefully Chelsea do survive.
No, for sure. I have quickly for you key matchups. Where is it? Won or loss?
I don't know, man. Just score a goal.
Don't concede. No, the key matchup is any striker and the opposition's goal. That's all it is.
Yeah, just like I don't know what to expect from Van Nistelrooy's managerial style. I'll probably see that tonight. I don't know what formation we're going to be playing. So, yeah, right now I think it's just a lottery in terms of what to expect as a United fan.
Yeah.
So sorry, I don't really have. I don't know if Bruno is going to start. I don't know if Ahmad's going to start. Okay, Ahmad probably will start now because Ten Hag isn't managing anymore. And yeah, like on the left wing, like Rashford will probably start again because I think that was just the script. Always Rashford starts and Garnacho comes on as an impact player, and then somehow Ten Hag just got the wrong script, and then he reversed everything. Also, another thing, just a quick touch on this from Amorim. His left wing normally plays as a left back in his system. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Nacho can't do that. Rashford, we know his tendency to hardly come back. So I think United might end up seeing a new left winger sometime in the next year or so, if that is going to happen the way I think it's going to.
AFC battles for this weekend is hope that the other team doesn't score and hope that each team scores.
100%. 100%. We just have a question here from Ziad in the chat, real quick. This is for Sripad. Is there anyone that would make the Chelsea starting 11 from this United squad?
Ruben Amorim.
From the United starting 11, I think many would say Onana, but I'm not a big fan of Onana, so I'm not going to pick him. But yeah, I think currently I would say Onana over Sanchez, because as long as Sanchez is out, I'm fine. So I'll pick Onana. But yeah, apart from that, I don't think Bruno can replace Palmer. I don't think now who else is United starting 11? I can only every time I think of United, I can only think of Ten Hag right now, because that's the focal point there, right? Let's see. Right back was Mazraoui. Mazraoui is not coming in place of Gusto or Reece James. Centre backs, let's not even get there. They're just too slow before they come to my mind itself. They won't be fast enough to come to my mind itself. Left back is Dallo. No, Cucurella is better. Caicedo and Lavia are by the time they finish the match, guys, Casemiro will be just turning around to get the ball. Forward, no, I don't think Jackson gets replaced by either Holland or Xerxes. Rashford for Sancho, no, I don't think so. But yeah, I think that can be a case. But depending on how Maresca wants his left winger to be playing, I don't think Rashford is ideal. The only thing Rashford and the Chelsea winger have in common is shooting, and that's with Mudryk, because they don't hit the goal. But yeah, I don't think anyone actually makes a case to get into the Chelsea 11 apart from Onana.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's fair.
That's 100%. That's 100% correct. That's
okay. Can't even complain with anything. Like he's literally hit the nail on the head.
Straight facts.
Good question there. So let's just jump into predictions and we can wrap up. AF, I'm going to start with you, seeing as you had the shortest matchups. What is your prediction?
2-0 Chelsea.
Ooh, first win at Old Trafford in a while. Riaz?
I love a draw, don't I? I'll go for 2-2.
Typical Spurs fan again, sitting on the fence. Sripad, what do you have?
If Ten Hag was there, I would have gone for 2-0. Right now, I'll go for a 2-1 Chelsea win.
2-1 Chelsea win. Okay. I think manager bounce.
Yeah.
I think it's like a 1-0 game. I think it's 1-0 United, and everything's going to be good in Manchester for that little period,
Yeah.
and then international
The
breaks gonna
manager
come.
bounce is happening tonight. The manager
Yeah,
bounce is
but
happening
generally
tonight.
it's at least 2 games. And
Yeah.
if it's not gonna happen tonight against Leicester because Vardy's playing, then maybe it happens against Chelsea.
No, I wouldn't mind United sneaking in a 1-0 win and Rio Ferdinand going. I think Rude is on the wheel, give him the contract, and
Yeah,
then United
yeah.
going down the
Give him
same route
give
again.
him whatever he wants.
Yes, I mean, if
That's a good
I
point.
think I think Ferdinand will go crazy, and I think United, if they listen to him, then great. Good for other clubs.
Yeah. Look,
I like that
it'll just
option.
continue that cycle of the same sort of thing has been happening since Fergie's left. So
Yeah.
if they are serious, maybe they'll just give Rude a few games. But yeah, who knows? So that wraps up our very contentious, very hard-hitting episode today. We want to thank the hosts and we want to thank Sripad. Where can the people
you.
find you? Any of the socials?
I'm false finger almost everywhere. But I don't use any other thing apart from Twitter.
Okay.
I'm always available on Twitter, but Instagram I have an account, but I don't think I've used it since 2017 or something.
Okay. As soon as you sign a new keeper, maybe you can start posting selfies of how happy you are Sanchez isn't going to play.
I
Maybe that.
I don't think Chelsea should sign more players. I think that we already have enough.
That's fair as
But
well.
that's the thing. That is the Chelsea DNA. But okay, all good. Riaz, where can the people find you?
Yeah, you can send me a message at Parker_Diaz on Twitter. And yeah, come around, talk nonsense, and follow the channel, of course, as well.
Sweet. AF.
Yeah, at AF Parker 642 on all socials, just like Sripad. Rumor has it that I probably followed his lead of just like standardizing my handle on social media. So yeah, same one across all, chatting football, chatting pop culture. So yeah, come find me.
Sweet. I'm at Jason_Ronnie on X. Don't message me on Instagram, please. I won't respond. We'll be chatting football. We'll be doing what we need to do. And we are at Sportycast on all of the major platforms. So follow us on all the social media platforms. We appreciate the sport. We appreciate the love. Thanks to all the comments. There was one that Obnoxious Otter said 5-0 to Chelsea. So that's something interesting. Let's see if that comes to fruition. So to all of the comments and everybody that's been showing the love, we do appreciate it. We are nearing
That's
the end
Robert
of the
Sanchez
season.
sending the message.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Not the end of the season, sorry, end of the year. We're looking to do a little giveaway sometime soon, so keep your eyes peeled on those socials. And yeah, just thanks for all the love. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks to Sripad once again. Thank you for
Thank you guys for
bailing it
having
off.
me.
And yeah, thank you for
Thank
pulling
you guys
in,
for
brother.
having me. This is like the first time I've put my face out. I've come on a podcast or something. Thank you. This is a good debut for me. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very
it's
much. Thank
first
you for
and won't
gracing
be
us.
the last.
Thank you for allowing us to be the first one, to be the grand reveal, own scene exclusive. But yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you guys.